I picked a short straw, right?
You sure did. You picked a good meeting.
Well, I was, I guess.
We're gonna be here all night though, but you picked a good meeting.
How's that a good meeting if we're here all night?
No, because I needed a dog.
That goes against good.
I'm just gonna walk out
I'm out of town tomorrow.
You are?
Yeah, my daughter's got a tournament in New York City. So I was
Nice.
like, oh well, I told Francine I covered for her, and then I was like, oh my gosh, I hope they don't come all night. I'm not even packed.
I am a grandma.
Yay! She had the
She
baby.
had the baby.
Girl or boy?
Yeah.
Oh, how sweet.
She's so cute.
Oh my gosh.
So tiny. He's 5 pounds.
But it's beautiful. Who did this?
This photographer.
They went to the hospital?
No, we took her.
Different home?
Yeah, we did it at her studio. She does it in.
guess Natalie will get that privilege. Doggone it.
I'm trying to do
I'm trying to hide behind that cell phone.
Oh, that's true. Wait a minute. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
That is
Oh, look at my, you got next. You got next.
That's it. It is you.
No, you got next. Go ahead, Natalie. You do that.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, y'all remind me the next time we're gonna get our camera guy to do the Pledge of Allegiance. You'll actually get yourself on camera doing the Pledge of Allegiance next time. All right. Next. Okay. We'll just do some preliminary stuff. Oh, we won't get you. Yeah, we are. You got time to go in the car. We won't get you that. Okay. I got to kill a few minutes as one of our colleagues stepped out for a minute, but she'll be back. First thing we have to do, though, is acceptance of the minutes. And there are no minutes. Actually, what we ought to do is I try to kill time, but this is really important. I'm constantly hearing, and I know this has got to be true for probably 60 to 70% of the people in this room, perhaps even more. I'm constantly getting calls from loved ones and family and friends of people who are diagnosed with. And definitely we're going to have you do the pledge next week because you keep us on our game here. I'm constantly getting calls from folks who are diagnosed with cancer. And it just seems that it is a disease without any rhyme or reason. People who are young or old, black, white, rich, poor. It just seems to find us all, either personally or through our family members. And I know we try to reserve some moments to reflect upon those who might need our support, our prayers, our guidance. I would ask that you all spend the next minute or less concentrating in the way that you know how best to send that positive energy, support, prayers to those who are diagnosed with all forms of cancer. I got a call just today from a friend who has stage 4 colon cancer, but maybe 2 or 3 weeks before that, I got a call from someone in my family who had prostate cancer. I know Commissioner Vice President Elliott has talked about the fact that she has had cancer. I have had cancer. My dad died of cancer. And I know this is probably true of most people in this room. So again, just a moment or two to reflect on those folks and their families and their treating physicians that are providing guidance and support to those folks as well. Okay, my colleagues have reminded me, or got to it quicker than I did, that there are no speakers, which is an unusual thing for us. The next item on the agenda is reports. There are no reports. Student Leadership Congress is out for the summer, waiting for a new representative to take the seat there. Parent Advisory Report, there is no report. And Bilingual Education Council, there is no report as well. I would note for those that are concerned about the ongoing absence of the Parent Advisory Committee and their reports, Dan and Linda and I had worked through most of the end of the school year coming to some agreement, and I think we are a little bit closer. Terry is going to pick up on that, and I'm sure within the next meeting or two give you an update with respect to where we're at with the Parent Advisory Group. I did indicate to you all, though, that the resolution was passed. It was made clear by Terry, by Linda, Dan, and myself that that resolution was in effect and there was no negotiating with that, and that any additional changes would have to begin from that point on. So really, we just, at that point, Dan and Linda needed to have Terry be engaged in those conversations. So that's where those conversations will pick up. All right, review and acceptance of financial reports. There are no financial reports, is that right, Commissioner Powell? No? Okay, and now we turn to the, thank you very much, where I told you we wouldn't be even close to the bottom of the agenda by the time you got back. Next item on the agenda is EPO Superintendent's Report. Sean is not here, although I've been assured that if there are any questions regarding the resolutions relating to East, that they will be ably answered by staff from East. So let's turn to the consideration of resolutions. Can I get a motion to discuss resolutions 1 through 4? These are East EPO resolutions.
Motion.
So moved.
And moved by Commissioner LeBron, seconded by Commissioner Powell. Any questions or comments regarding those resolutions?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay. I just need to understand the Freshman Academy Director position, and if this is the salary for it, how many students are being served under this particular title, and also how many administrators also serve the same population. I have multiple, so you want me to start there? And
Yeah, now normally, as you all will see, I know you've seen already, our guidelines, our standard of conduct indicate, and this is just a reminder, that the questions such as that are directed to the superintendent. Sean is not here. And then the superintendent would say, okay, I want you or you to answer. And I guess you're going to try to stand in as best you can for Sean and maybe even answer the question as well?
I appreciate it. This is a position that is being filled due to a resignation of our current director. I would have to get the exact numbers for you, Commissioner LeBron. I don't know that right off the top of my head, but I certainly can get that for you.
okay.
With regard to how many other administrators are serving that position, the position actually is a dual report both into Sean as well as into Marlene Blocker. So it's a portion of time. There is one other vice principal that supports the Freshman Academy Director. And I'm sorry, did you have other questions on that?
Yeah, just to be clear, I think my question is, it's kind of echoing, guys,
Yeah,
on the mic. IT folks, the mic's a little bit echoey. So just to clarify, I just need to understand what a Freshman Academy Director.
Oh, it's getting worse. It's like the aliens are coming. Jeez. Wow. E.T. phone home. Wow. That sounds really, that's a great sound effect. You good?
Encounters of the.
Thank you, sir.
I know, it was very weird. So a Freshman Academy Director, I guess, would specifically do what when I need to understand how many vice principals are currently at East and the size population that this specific position. I do understand that someone resigned from this position and went to another district, and this is just an acting position. But I also need clarity on the salary. And I do want to take this time while we're here that we have been asked as a board by our board president and conversations with other colleagues to submit questions in advance, but we did not receive these resolutions with enough time for us to review them to submit questions in advance. In addition, we just got this today, the justifications for these resolutions just came in today, so I was not able to lay my eyes on them before today. So I say that because this is why it's critically important if you want us as a board to propose questions in advance so people are prepared to answer them. We need these resolutions in advance as well, because I'm not really comfortable voting on these resolutions. But I will give Anissa my questions so that they're in the board log so that they could be answered. I also need to understand the resolution after on the second page here, page 2, but resolution number 3. Just to understand if this is saying that we're paying a staff person to become certified, and if that is something that we typically do. I don't know if you have an answer for that right now.
It's my understanding that that is the process. This actually, Commissioner LeBron, I know you're very familiar with the optics
Yep.
grant. Right. So the optics grant has not yet been approved. We're trying to get all the narrative in place and make sure all the pieces are in place prior to submission to the state. So this particular resolution eventually will be recoded to the federal fund for state aid underneath the grant program.
Okay.
So, and I'm thinking I'm saying that correctly, it's going into the grant fund, if you will, so the easiest way to understand that. It's my understanding that these hours being worked at this business are necessary in order to obtain that CTE instructional certification. I don't know what else I can add to that. That's my understanding of that.
But is that standard for the district? And I don't know if anybody has an answer for the school district to pay for someone's certification.
Oh, sure.
We would pay their salary while they're getting certified? I don't know any other person in the district. Harry, is Harry here? Oh, sorry, I know, we're missing we're missing two superintendents. We have one away right now in training.
Harry, can you answer that?
Yeah.
So would we typically, as a district, pay for someone to get their certification?
Yeah, and we do that, okay? Because it depends upon the nature of the certification. It could be like a Trans B or Trans D. So based upon that, we have to give them a job offer in order for them to go to.
Oh, it's doing it again.
Yeah. So in certain situations, we do that.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you. Yeah.
As you may know, two of our people are out.
Oh, okay.
One just retired.
Retired.
On vacation. So we're doing our best to
Absolutely.
provide.
I know, it's
appreciate
okay,
that,
yeah. That's it for me for questions for East. I'll get them to Anissa to email.
Okay, I'll be happy to answer them and come back.
Okay, thank you.
Could I ask one question?
Absolutely.
On Resolution 4, I was wondering, here in the district, we don't have staffing that can provide this kind of education to staff, the culturally relevant and responsive teaching. Do we have a group here that's a part of our staff that can provide that education? I see we're going outside
I
to...
don't have that answer for you. What I do know is that Dr. Sonia James Wilson has been working with us since the very beginning of the EPO. That's my understanding. She was here well before I was. It's been her personal or professional development has been ongoing and added to year after year. So because she is familiar with the culture at East, it's just been decided that she would continue to work with the staff and with the students. To answer your other question, I personally don't have that knowledge, but that's because I don't have that interaction with the curriculum side.
Okay. If that could be added to the log to understand the staff that we have, both at East and in the Rochester district, to understand who already provides that PD.
Can I
Yeah,
add
sure.
a follow-up question
Yep.
to what Commissioner Davis is requesting? Also, if other staff from the district are able to also attend and benefit some of her workshops and trainings. I know that Dr. Nelms had mentioned that we would be doing a central hub for some of the professional development for teachers that could be shared across the entire district. So I would like to know if this is going to be a part of that as well.
I would think so, because again, we try to open our doors to everyone and anyone to make sure that people benefit from what's being offered at East.
Okay.
Any other questions regarding resolutions 1 through 4? Let me just add, and this is not necessarily directed at East, but and actually I have not, I don't know about my colleagues, have not had to make this statement for a while, but it is important. We should remind the administration that it is critical that we get this information far in advance so that we can ask the necessary questions in advance so that you're not caught off guard. So, and again, I realize this is, you should not take this comment directed at you, but it is,
Yeah,
it is very important.
I have more board member, so I feel that.
Oh, okay.
What I do also understand is that I was given my deadlines that I needed to make. All of those deadlines were met, so I'm a little bit shocked to hear that you didn't receive it. I don't know where things fell down, but I certainly would look into that because I empathize with what you're going through.
Well,
I didn't realize, I didn't know.
Yeah, let me just say, we can reflect on how we're short-staffed from the media or communications perspective. Well, I think that's true in a lot of positions within the district. So anything could have happened to cause the delay. For example, you see an unfamiliar face, at least in that seat sitting over there. We appreciate that she is, Anissa has stepped up to the plate to substitute for Francine, who is substituting for Shanae. So, and Kalia has worked really mightily behind the scenes. She's probably watching, and because we're missing a couple of staff people, we have a new superintendent who is in Harvard, along with Vice President Elliott and other staff members. I think there's a couple of other leaders from central office in Harvard with them. So it could have happened anywhere, but it is worth repeating. It is essential that we all show the courtesy to each other to get our questions or our concerns or our documents to each other in advance. And again, I appreciate the fact that you've done exactly what you're supposed to have done.
It's not a problem. And
thank you.
We will do better wherever we fell down.
Yep.
It will be taken care of.
All right, thank you very much. No other questions on resolutions 1 through 4? There being no further questions, all those in favor of resolutions 1 through 4, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition?
Oh, yeah, it's a no for me too. Oh, that's going to be a problem, see?
Well, hold on. So we have 3 yeses and 2 nos, so the resolutions failed. Carrie, could you come up for a second? Could you come up for a second? I just want to ask you a question. The resolutions failed. So I'm wondering, just for a point of clarity, are any of those resolutions time sensitive?
Yes, the freshman academy director, the individual is supposed to start now. The other, number 1 failed as well. That's a remedial reading teacher. That was, obviously she's starting 9-4, but she's to start professional development with us as a per diem sub.
Our next meeting is, I think, next Tuesday, is that right? That's supposed to be a work session.
Can I clarify though? I didn't vote,
What'd you vote? I thought you voted no to all. I said 1 through 4.
no, not for 1. I'm okay with 1. So can we take a
Okay.
revote and split it?
No, not a revote. Let's just get some clarity. So I counted 3 yeses for 1 through 4. There was a no. I'll start with at least 1 no. Reverend Commissioner Davis, what was your no for?
1 through 4.
1 through 4. Okay, so we're down to 4 votes, but you're voting no to which ones?
I'm going to vote no to 2, and that's it.
2. Okay, all right. So let's just reflect very briefly. So that 2 failed. I assume that is something that you guys can work with and get another vote in later on.
I believe it was scheduled to come to the meeting on the 25th as well, but it needs to be next week.
Oh, no, I was suggesting if there was
25th
some urgency, but if it can be the 25th, that's fine.
Okay.
You should just tell Sean that particular resolution failed. And so if there's something that needs to be takes place earlier than our next meeting, business meeting, then Sean should let me or Francine know.
Okay, so just for a point of clarification for myself.
Sure.
Number 2 is the only one that absolutely.
That's correct. That's correct.
Thank you.
Yep, okay.
I appreciate it.
Yep. Yes, sir.
When you guys go out to speak, please speak towards the microphone. That way you guys will be able to speak very loud.
All right, you got that? I need a motion to discuss resolution number 5. Did I heard Commissioner Davis say she was moving to discuss resolution number 5. Is there a second?
Second.
All right,
Very
Commissioner
happily
LeBron.
second. Let's second that right now.
Second that. Any questions or comments regarding resolution number 5? Any comments? No questions? All those in favor of resolution number 5, of course, those questions would have to be asked in executive session, so there being no questions or comments, all those in favor of resolution number 5, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? The ayes have it. You got that, Madam Clerk? You're keeping pace with us, boy, I tell you. This is not the first time you've done this, though, right? Oh, it is? Okay. Okay, she can roll. I want to take a brief moment of clarification. While all of us sitting up here are commissioners, there's some possible would-be commissioners, or at least one sitting in the audience. I want to recognize our future colleague. Want to stand up and say hello? Amy Malloy was one of the successful candidates, and she still has another hurdle, and that is the November election. But Rochester being what it is, there's a good chance that she might get elected, and so we appreciate your coming here to sort of scope things out and maybe learn and help us learn a little something by watching us and maybe offering up some commentary later on. I should also note that the November election will give us time to provide Ms. Malloy and other successful candidates the opportunity to orientate themselves to the Board of Education. We have directed our staff to make sure that they are looped into all communications. If there's a question as to whether it's confidential or not, our staff, Carl, can get involved, but we really want to err on the side of making sure they are informed so that should they get sworn in, and we believe that's going to happen, they can hit the ground running. Additionally, Commissioner Hallmark, who is working on sort of the transition book, the handbook, is trying to make sure that you all, the successful candidates, whoever they are, have a transition handbook that provides them the information that they need about critical tasks. I know one of the things that I learned from Commissioner Davis, I've been on this board for a while, so the perspective of being new was kind of lost to me. She would constantly remind us of the things that, you just didn't know and you couldn't possibly know. So I'm really hoping that Commissioner Hallmark, who is on her way out, will really help us make sure that the gaps are filled in for people who are new to this so that you can, again, hit the ground running, because really, as everybody knows, there's no time to delay here in this job. So welcome, Ms. Malloy, and we appreciate you being here tonight. I need a motion to discuss resolution number 6, additional pay resolution. Is there a motion?
Second.
And made by?
A motion.
Oh, you motioned.
Sorry.
Commissioner LeBron, seconded by Commissioner Powell. Any questions or comments regarding the additional pay resolutions? There being no additional comments or questions regarding additional pay resolutions, all those in favor of resolution number 6, say aye. Aye. Any opposition?
No for me.
Madam Clerk, you recorded that one no? All right. Are there other resolutions? I always throw that in there, and I'm not really.
I think we would have
7 and 8, yes, there are.
to discuss them in executive session.
That's right.
Okay, yeah.
Your indulgence just for a second. Yeah. We're at that portion of our agenda, which you see, the resolution, if you have the packet, 7 and 8 relate to matters which normally we would discuss publicly, but in this instance, they relate to matters which we are going to seek counsel from the district's general counsel. So that would allow us by law to go into executive session to get some insight, some legal insight and advice from our counsel. So I'm going to need a motion to go into executive session on that subject matter. Also, I'll need a motion to go into executive session to discuss matters leading to the appointment, employment, or promotion of or status of a particular employee. Do I have that motion?
Motion.
And moved by Commissioner LeBron, seconded by?
Second.
Commissioner Powell. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
For you diehard Gladiator fans, if you really want to see what happens with the Board of Education, we're going to go downstairs. That's where we're going to have our executive session. And then we will reconvene only to leave this building from the second floor. So other than that, that's it for tonight. All those in favor, did I take the vote on the executive session? All right. So I will see you at our next meeting. Ms. Malloy, if you'd like, and unless there's some objection from the board, our bylaws allow the board to invite anyone that it chooses into executive session. You're more than welcome to come unless there's some objection from the body here. The executive session should be pretty brief. I don't expect there's going to be, but it is going to be pretty substantive and important. So I invite you on behalf of the board to attend if you'd like. All right. Good night, everybody. sounds like it's taken.